Alright, so we're going to go over the parts that we have here. Special thanks to my friend Jacob, who's holding the camera during this event. He's also going to be helping with holding some things in place and waving his hand in front of the camera so you can see nothing like you did 4 years ago. Alright, so here are all the parts that we have to unbox. There's quite a few. So, there is a lot. Now don't worry, in this portion of the video I'm going to go through everything, I'm going to go into detail about why I chose it and everything like that. Let's start with the motherboard here. Alright, this is the Intel LGA 2011 motherboard from Asus. Alright, it's the X99 Pro. A lot of people have questions as to why I chose this over the deluxe version. It's actually quite simple. Now the deluxe version is the next step up from this version, but what I didn't like about the deluxe is if you see here, it says USB 3.1 on the box. Now this motherboard has USB 3.1 built into the board already. The deluxe version came with more PCIe 16 slots, but it also had a add-on card for USB 3.1, and that's just something I didn't want to deal with. So I already went and chose the Pro just because it had built-in USB 3.1 as well as multiple PCIe 4 slots, so I can plug in things like my capture card. I'm planning on getting the Elgato Elgato HD60 Pro. All right, and the capture card I have already, which is the AverMedia Game Broadcaster HD, is a PCIe capture card as well. So that's why I really chose this motherboard. It had more ports that were useful to me, and also had built-in USB 3.1 opposed to the, add-on card that the X99 Deluxe came with. Now, the processor to go with that motherboard is this, the Intel i7-5820K. This is a 6-core processor with, gosh, I think it's 16 threads if I'm not mistaken, although, actually no, I think it's 12 threads actually. This is pretty much the best 6-core processor you can go with. There is the 5930K, which I was considering, but it was an extra $200. And a lot of people had questions because I am going with like an SLI setup. A lot of people had questions regarding, okay, the number of PCIe lanes, which I think is 28 on the 5820K, is opposed to with the 5930K, it had 40 lanes, right? And for an SLI setup, the more PCIe Express lanes you have, your graphics card will be able to perform at the maximum amount of power or whatever that they perform at. Now here's the thing, even though that a lot of people want to say, hey, this is the lower amount of PCIe Express lanes and it's going to bottleneck your GPUs, each generation of PCIe Express lanes doubles that of the previous speed. So even though that these lanes are less than what I guess the two graphics cards would use, the speed at which these lanes are going at is so much more substantial than what they really need to begin with. And so that being said, it was like a no-brainer. I was able to save $200. It wasn't going to bottleneck my GPUs at all, and it was just a much smarter decision to go with this. Not to mention Fry's had a good deal. Got this for $330. This is normally $400, so good deal from Fry's. But anyway, that's the 5820K. Next up we have RAM. This was, I kind of went back and forth on. This is the Corsair Dominator Platinum, 32 gigabytes of DDR4 memory, alright? Best of the best. I also went ahead and got the additional light bar kits with it, so it's going to look really nice in my system. 32 gigabytes. Yes, it's overkill. A lot of people go with 16 gigabytes now, but here's the thing. When you really think about it, only a few years ago, people were using 16 gigabytes as like a buffer, right? And when I built my computer, 8 gigabytes was like the minimum amount of what you would put in your gaming PC. It's like what the average person would put in their gaming PC. And keep in mind, that was 2011. Now we're up to 16 gigabytes in roughly 4 years as an average person of what they would put in their gaming machine. So how long do you think it's going to take for 32 gigabytes to be considered average of what we're going to put in our machines? So that's why I got 32 gigabytes of the Corsair Dominator Platinum. This is pretty much like the best RAM you can get. Well, it's up there, and like I said, it is DDR4, so it is the next generation of memory. So the speed should be really nice. It's running at 2,666 megahertz for this, which is really nice. And with the light bar kit too, it's going to look really cool. So that's why I went with that. Going up with the memory here, we have the SSD, which is the Samsung 850 EVO. This is the 500 gigabyte version. They always have good, good prices on their SSD. Samsung. I do know that the new 950, I believe, series came out, and that came out unfortunately after I bought this already. So I didn't get to take advantage of like the new next generation SSDs that use M.2 ports and things like that. But this is going to be fine. I'm going to run off all my programs are going to run off this, but I'm also going to run off a few games with it. So. And 500 gigabytes is actually a lot of space for an SSD. This is going to be quite useful. And for the HDD hard drive, went with a 3 terabyte Western Digital Caviar Black drive. All right, this is a 3 terabyte, 7200 RPM, 64 megabytes of cache, and pretty much the best, fastest hard drive that Western Digital offers. Never had an issue with Western Digital hard drives. They've always made great products, and the black drives are actually pretty fast, so this is going to be quite useful. Moving on, we have custom fans here. These are going to go with my cooler as well as the back of the case. These are BitPhoenix Spectre Pros with the white LEDs. I have 3 140 millimeter fans here, which are going to be quite useful. You're going to see why I went with the the LED illuminated fans and later on in the video when I actually build it. But it's going to be pretty awesome. Really good fans. These come highly recommended and really nice. Really excited to try these out, so it's going to be cool. I also got a 24 times DVD rewritable writer thing. So a lot of people I know don't really put bay drives in their system these days. It's kind of like, it's the digital age, I'll just download a program online, or even Windows now that they sell with USB sticks. I'm still one of those people who buys collector's editions for games, and in very rare instances will buy a PC retail copy of games. And I'm also one of those people who burns music to CDs. So that being said, I needed a DVD, a writer here that would be able to, run at pretty good speeds here, and also just for convenience, since I am one of those people who actually uses CDs. This was like a no-brainer, so I needed to pick this up. It's quite an upgrade from what I had in my original system, which was a 16 times writable tray. So, and Asus makes great, DVD writers, so this is pretty cool. So this is what I picked up. I got the most dark black version they could find, so it goes stealth with my system. But you'll see. This is actually something I needed because I do use it. This is just a simple Windows 10 disk. It doesn't come with it. There's no. I can block this. You can show this, but because there are serial numbers on there. But yeah, it's just a special order Windows 10 Pro 64-bit CD that came with it. Pretty cool. For the CPU cooler, I went with the Corsair H110i GTX with reflections. So this is pretty cool. It's a dual 140 millimeter fan. Water cooler, which is nice. It also has illuminating right there, which is cool. And Corsair Link, pretty much the best water cooler. Is it a water? It's a water cooler, right? Radiator. Yep. Okay, yeah, you can get, which is pretty nice. And this
until you make your own.
Yes, and this just came today. So this was actually sold out for quite a while on Amazon, and luckily it came back in stock just at the right time. I ordered it as soon as I could. So this came today, which is nice. And it's sitting on top of, if the thing doesn't fall, well, it did fall. Or we can just throw it, yeah. This is the power supply. It's the Corsair HX 1000i power supply. Yes, I know 1000 watts is overkill. I know, for an SLI setup, but still I wanted extra power here, and just in case I went with, in the future I decided to upgrade my graphics cards and they just decided to use more power, at least I have that. I wanted some power and some room in my system to make sure that everything wasn't just running at its peak levels, that it was running fine and optimal. 1000 watts is more than fine, and really excited. This also matches the color combination of my case, which is cool. I can set this down and not make a mess. Alright, finally, well not finally, but the graphics cards, the most important thing here. Went with 2 GTX 980 Ti's from EVGA with their Super Clocked Plus versions, ACX 2.0, and they also have back plates and things like that. Now, I went with 2 because I was building this computer with 4K in mind originally, and in order to achieve 4K gaming, you need you need, you know, 2 cards to run 60 frames per second at an Ultra HD resolution, it's like a no-brainer, right? And I didn't want to dial back settings. I'm one of those people who, when I build a system, it needs to be top peak performance for that time. You know, you don't want to build like a subpar system and still not be able to play some of the games at maximum settings these days. So 2 GTX 980 Ti's, very similar to Titan X's, which are nice, and cost a fraction of the price, which is good. DirectX 12 G-Sync support and all that good stuff, so it's gonna be nice running on these bad boys, all right? And of course, I got the EVGA SLI Bridge, the 2-way. The reason I got this and the reason I'm not using the one that comes with my motherboard is because this one actually illuminates. I just wanted like a nicer SLI Bridge, so really that's the whole reason. I'm gonna just kind of sneak around here. You guys won't be able to see this, but this is the case. It is the Corsair 760T in white. I love the design of this case. It's modern, futuristic, also minimalistic, and just the whole aesthetics of this case give like a really nice premium feel to everything and really make, you know, everything look nice, especially with the color combination, the motherboard being white, the cooler graphics cards, and the fans, you know, illuminating white LEDs. It's gonna look really nice. This is definitely a case for a show system, which is cool too. Over here is something I just received today. This is the monitor, all right? So quick heads up here. This is the Acer S277HK. A lot of people don't know about this monitor. In my opinion, it's the most attractive 16:9 monitor that they have today, all right? It's an Ultra HD resolution, IPS panel, supports 10-bit color, and it is the first monitor ever to release that has an HDMI 2.0. Monitors have HDMI 2.0 now, but this was the first one that came out and did that. It also features a 0-frame design. They put really slim bezels on this, which is really nice. A 4 milliseconds response time and a 60 hertz refresh rate, of course, because we don't have DisplayPort 1.3 at this time. Now, the reason I have this and the reason I do not have my preferable monitor, which is the Acer X34 Predator, is pretty simple. Now, the X34 Predator came out in October, like mid-October, and then it was recalled due to display issues and glitches and things like that. It has not received a re-release at this time, and I was looking around and I'm like, man, you know, I really want this monitor to come out so I can get it for my build, but unfortunately, I have all the parts here and they're still working on the monitor. Specifically next month, they're supposed to be releasing the monitor, which is nice. So hopefully next month, I'll be able to pick the monitor up, or I may actually just wait for ASUS's ROG Swift PG348Q, depending on how that looks. But I don't like the design of that monitor, so I'm probably just gonna go with the Predator, to be honest. But Amazon has a thing where if you buy anything on Amazon between now and December 31st, you get until January 31st to return it. So I have a full 2 months to play with this thing before I get an ultra-wide monitor, and I can return it for a full refund. So that's what I'm gonna do, and looking forward to this. This isn't a G-Sync monitor, and unfortunately the ROG Swift PG27AQ is not released yet, and that was like the 4K monitor I wanted, but I've been converted over to the ultra-wide bandwagon, especially with the X34 Predator. I'm currently using an ASUS VG248QE, which is actually connected up right there. And this is a 144 Hz TN panel, and was one of the fastest at the time. Still, to this day, still a fast monitor. But coming down from 144 Hertz to 60 Hertz, like with 4K as a normal driver, to me, really wouldn't have been acceptable. That's something that probably would have been bothering me for quite a long time. And so the X34 Predator luckily came out, or it was out and unfortunately recalled, but it is 100 Hertz, and you do lose 40% of pixel density compared to 4K. So I figured, all right, I'll give up 40% pixel density and I'll gain an extra 40 Hertz of refresh rate, which in turn just makes for a much better gaming experience that's much more fluid. So those are the parts I went with. That's why I went with those parts. We're gonna get down to building this bad boy and unboxing all this. This is gonna be really fun. And I believe the total cost for all this, including the monitor, was around $5,000. No small, feat here. So, all right, thanks guys. Check out the next part. We're finally gonna be able to build this. All right.